Question 1. What is the primary characteristic of AWS CloudFormation's approach to provisioning and managing infrastructure? Option A. It uses imperative scripts to execute a sequence of API calls. Option B. It relies on manual configuration through the AWS Management Console. Option C. It uses declarative templates to define the desired state of resources. Option D. It automatically detects and remediates all configuration drift without user input. The correct answer is, quote, it uses declarative templates to define the desired state of resources. Quote, here's the explanation. CloudFormation is a declarative IAC tool. You define the desired state of your AWS resources in a JSON or YAML template, and CloudFormation orchestrates the necessary AWS API calls to achieve and maintain that state. Question 2. You have an existing CloudFormation stack and plan to update its template to modify several resources. Which feature should you use to understand the exact impact of your proposed changes? E.g., which resources will be added, modified, or deleted before applying them? Option A. Drift detection. Option B. Nested stacks. Option C. Change sets. Option D. Stack sets. The correct answer is change sets. Here's the explanation. Change sets allow you to preview the proposed changes that CloudFormation will make to your stack's resources before you execute the update. This is crucial for understanding the impact and preventing unintended modifications or deletions. Question 3. You're creating a CloudFormation template and need to output the ARN of an SQ that was created within the same stack so that another stack can reference it. Which intrinsic function would you typically use to retrieve an attribute like the ARN of a specific resource? Option A. Backquote. Ref backquote. Option B. Backquote. Get at backquote. Option C. Backquote. Sub backquote. Option D. Backquote. Import value backquote. The correct answer is backquote. Get at backquote. Here's the explanation. The backquote, get at backquote, get attribute intrinsic function is used to retrieve an attribute of a resource in your template. For example, get at mysqsq. ARN backquote would retrieve the ARN of the SQ named mysqsq backquote. Ref backquote returns the logical ID or name backquote. Sub backquote for substitution and backquote. Import value backquote is for referencing outputs from other time stacks. Question 4. A company requires a disaster recovery solution for its mission-critical on-premises applications with an RPO, recovery point objective, measured in seconds, and an RTO, recovery time objective, measured in minutes. Which AWS service is specifically recommended for this purpose? Option A. AWS Backup. Option B. AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery, DRS. Option C. AWS Application Migration Service, MGN. Option D. Amazon S3 Cross-Region Replication. The correct answer is AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery, DRS. Here's the explanation. AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery, DRS, is the recommended AWS service for disaster recovery of physical, virtual, and cloud servers, specifically designed to achieve RPOs in seconds and RTOs in minutes through continuous block-level replication. AWS Backup is for general backup with higher RPOs/RTOs. MGN is for migration, not disaster recovery failover/failback. S3 cross-region replication is for S3 data, not server recovery. Question 5. When setting up AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery, what component is installed on the source servers, on-premises, other clouds, or EC2 instances to capture and transmit data changes to the AWS staging area. Option A, AWS Systems Manager Agent. Option B, AWS Replication Agent. Option C, AWS Data Sync Agent. Option D, AWS CloudWatch Agent. The correct answer is AWS Replication Agent. Here's the explanation. AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery is an agent-based service. A lightweight AWS Replication Agent is installed on each source server to continuously monitor block-level data changes and transmit them to the designated staging area in the target AWS region. Other agents serve different purposes: Systems Manager for management, Data Sync for data transfer, CloudWatch for monitoring. Question 6. An organization is using AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery to protect its on-premises servers. They want to regularly test their recovery procedures without impacting their production environment. What capability of DRS facilitates this requirement? Option A, automated conversion. Option B, point-in-time recovery. Option C, non-disruptive testing. Option D, cross-region replication. The correct answer is non-disruptive testing. Here's the explanation. AWS Elastic Disaster Recovery explicitly supports non-disruptive testing, which allows for regular, isolated testing of recovery procedures without impacting production systems. This is a key feature for validating DR readiness. Automated conversion is part of the recovery process. Point-in-time recovery allows selecting a specific recovery point, and cross-region replication is a broader strategy, not a specific testing capability within DRS. Question 7. What is the primary benefit of implementing a centralized logging strategy in a distributed cloud environment? Option A, to reduce the total volume of log data generated by applications. Option B, to eliminate the need for security groups and network ACLs. Option C, to provide a unified platform for analysis, monitoring, and troubleshooting across diverse log sources. Option D, to automatically encrypt all application payloads at rest and in transit. The correct answer is to provide a unified platform for analysis, monitoring, and troubleshooting across diverse log sources. Here's the explanation. Centralized logging consolidates logs from various sources into a single location, which is crucial for unified analysis, monitoring, identifying errors, detecting security threats, and troubleshooting issues in complex distributed systems. Question 8. An AWS user wants to capture detailed API call history for auditing and compliance, monitor network traffic flows within their VPC, and collect application and system logs from EC2 instances. Which combination of AWS logging services should they utilize? Option A, AWS CloudTrail, VPC flow logs, and AWS CloudWatch logs. Option B, AWS config, Amazon S3 access logs, and AWS CloudWatch metrics. Option C, AWS Trusted Advisor, AWS Security Hub, and Amazon Kinesis Firehose. Option D, Amazon DynamoDB Streams, AWS Lambda logs, and Amazon RDS logs. The correct answer is AWS CloudTrail, VPC flow logs, and AWS CloudWatch logs. Here's the explanation. AWS CloudTrail records API calls and related events for auditing. VPC flow logs capture information about IP traffic going to and from network interfaces in a VPC. AWS CloudWatch logs is used to collect, monitor, and store logs from EC2 instances, Lambda, and other services. Question 9. In the context of observability, which statement best differentiates logs from metrics? Option A, logs are numerical measurements aggregated over time, while metrics are discrete events. Option B, logs provide granular, immutable records of discrete events, while metrics are aggregated numerical values over time. Option C. Logs track the end-to-end journey of a request, while metrics detail internal service events. Option D. Logs are used for real-time alerting, while metrics are only for historical analysis. The correct answer is: logs provide granular, immutable records of discrete events, while metrics are aggregated numerical values over time. Here's the explanation. Logs capture detailed, discrete events, e.g., an error message, a user login. Metrics are numerical measurements, e.g., CPU utilization, request count, aggregated over time, often derived from logs or collected directly, providing trends rather than individual events. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.